Hello friends, welcome to Total Recap. Today we are going to explain 2009 action/comedy film Chandni Chowk to China, so sit with popcorn and enjoy the funny film till the end. The movie begins with a voiceover telling that centuries ago a Chinese warrior Lu Xing used to rule China, but he was martyred in a battle. And taking advantage of this, Hojo, who plays the role of a villain in the movie, started ruling a village in China. The one who took out the entire treasure of one village and started selling it, whoever raised voice against it would have been killed by him. Now some people are unhappy with this dictatorship and go to one of their gurus, the one who prophesied to them that Lu Xing's second incarnation is in Chandni Chowk, Delhi in India, and only he can defeat Hojo, whose name is Sidhu, who always cries for his bad luck, and that is why he is also superstitious and also believes in spiritual gurus and babas a lot. He wants money but he does not like to work hard. Meanwhile, Sidhu also goes to a pundit named Chopsticks who makes it fool every time. Here is the entry of Sidhu's dada, who is not Sidhu's real but stepfather, and he asks him to work hard but Sidhu does not listen to him. After that he saw Lord Ganesha in a potato, so he built a small temple to collect money, but all money steal by Chopsticks. Meanwhile some goons also come there but Sidhu fights with them too. Seeing this nonsense, Sidhu's dada kicks him and Sidhu falls straight to the two people who came to find Lu Xing's Indian variant. After this people go to Chopstick, where Chopstick gets two types of thoughts: on one side good angel who always tells him to follow the path of truth, and on the other side bad devil who always tells him to earn money by doing wrong things. Here Chopstick is lying to Sidhu that these people are saying that you were a king in the previous life, i.e. Lu Xing, but it was just a lie. These people have come to take you to kill a dictator of their village. After this, there is an entry in the movie of Siki aka Miss TSM, who is shown in the advertisement of Chinese products. Now Sidhu goes to visa office to make passport, where Miss TSM is also there, and she steals Sidhu's token by putting a dancing device on his feet. On the other hand, the security guard standing at the airport thinks that dancing device is a bomb, so he sends Sidhu back home. When Dada gets the news that Sidhu is going to China, he stops him from going to China, but Sidhu remained firm on his decision and eventually reaches China by catching a plane, where the whole village reaches to welcome it. Just then he sees Miss TSM aka Siki's twin sister Susie aka Meow Meow, and after some time Sidhu catches her, and the diamonds she was smuggled to China for Hojo also fall at the airport. Here a very strong fight is seen between Meow Meow and the airport police. But Hojo's diamonds were lost, so he vents his anger on Meow Meow, and Sidhu becomes a hero in the eyes of the people as soon as he arrives in China. After this, Miss TSM had also come to China, and here she checks some products for a new advertisement, like an MP3 player that is a universal translator, an umbrella that is bulletproof and doubles as a parachute, and a pepper spray. After this, Siki and the company's manager are talking to each other. Then Siki tells her backstory, where she has a small family consisting of her mother and Chinese police inspector Chang Kohong and just these two twin sisters. Hojo was once arrested by Siki's father, and now after being released from jail, he comes to the Great Wall of China to complete his revenge. In this fight, her mother ran away with Siki, but Hojo grabbed Susie from the inspector and threw her into the ditch below, after which his father also jumped into the ditch. But in the next scene it is shown that Hojo only threw the cloth into the ditch. Susie was with him, but the girl's mother could not bear this shock and she died. So after this, back to present, the villagers bring Sidhu to the Great Wall of China itself, where Lu Xing's grave was built, and Suji is following him. Siki, on the other hand, performs a puja to give peace to the souls of her father and her twin sister, but the Chinese police try to arrest her, mistaking her for Susie, but she escapes from them with great difficulty and goes to the village by sitting in a car belonging to the villagers. Here Sidhu is welcomed with great party, but after time of the party, Hojo's servants come there to catch Sidhu, but all those idiots end up killing each other. Here Siki comes from the bed to apologize to Sidhu, but the chopstick knocks him unconscious by smashing the pot on his head. Shortly thereafter, Susie shows up wearing a poisoned lipstick, but even with this dangerous trick of Suji, Sidhu and Chopstick make her unconscious as well. But still Suji was being chased by some men of Hojo, but those people mistakenly pick up the Siki because both of them were locked in the same place. Now after this, Chopstick wakes up from sleep and try to kiss with Suji. But just then, Susie's eyes open. Here she learns the entire backstory of Sidhu with the help of a chopstick. After this, both of them go to Hojo, but here Hojo was wondering that if it is Susie, then who did my men pick up? But he does not tell this to Susie. Now here Chopstick tells everything about Sidhu to Hojo. Siki, who has woken up from unconsciousness, is watching all this, and she somehow escapes from Hojo's house and comes to the village, where after hearing the news of the arrival of Hojo from Siki, the villagers caught Sidhu and sent him to fight with Hojo. But Sidhu does not know what is going to happen next. He was just in his fun, but then Chopstick tells the whole truth to Sidhu and asks him to run away from here. But Hojo was a complete mastermind. He brought his father with him to scare Sidhu. Now Sidhu was begging for his father's life by falling at the feet of Hojo. But seeing this, Dada got angry and started showing his moves, but one attack of Hojo took his life, and after that they beat Sida badly and throw him down from the Great Wall of China. But Suji and Saki's father stand below, yes, who is still alive. He didn't die falling from the Great Wall of China, he just lost his memory. He is making his living by begging. But here they save Sidu's life by catching him, and here on the other side the villagers perform the funeral of Sidu's father. Here we are shown the entire childhood of Sidu, how he met his stepfather, how he grew up, how he started working. In the next scene, Saki goes to Chopstick to get Saki and Suji together, and for this reason Chopstick joins Hojo's gang. After this we are shown the scene 3 months later where the beggar had cured Sida by calling a Chinese Veda. After recovery, Sidhu looks at Lord Ganesha made in potato and says that you put one hand on my head and snatched my grandfather with the other. Now what should I do here alone? No one even knows Hindi, but after few seconds Sidhu realizes that Inspector Chang aka Beggar knows Hindi perfectly. Now here Sidhu decides to become Lushing to revenge his father's death. After this, the beggar and Sidhu go to a restaurant, but Hojo's special servant Joy also follows them. There is a very funny fight between these three in which the beggar kills Joy by throwing a chopstick on his chest. Due to this incident, Inspector started remembering his past a little bit, and at the end he kills Joy by making Sidhu fall on top of Joy. After that, Sidhu takes out Joey's mobile and a ticket to a Chinese opera from his pocket. Now Sidhu goes on to perform on stage with the opera team, and here after his failed attempt to kill Hojo, a poor innocent man is killed by Hojo's counterattack. After this Sidhu runs away from there, and Saki and Chopsticks also know that Sidhu is still alive. But Hojo keeps following Sidhu, but here to save his life, Miss TSM comes, who sprays Hojo's eyes and jumps down from the building with Sidhu, and with the help of an umbrella, both of them escape by jumping from the building. By the way, this scene was quite funny. Now after this we are shown the scene of the Great Wall of China where Sidhu and Saki are sitting and talking sweetly, when a beggar comes from behind and Sidhu tells him that you are Inspector Chang Kohung, not a beggar. After hearing this, Saki comes to know that her father is still alive and she faints after hearing this. Now seeing his family photo here, the memory of the beggar means the inspector also comes back. Now its next scene is straight transformation from beggar to inspector. Now after getting the sketch of Sidhu and the inspector made by the owner of the restaurant, Hojo knows that both Sidhu and the inspector are still alive. Here Sidhu is telling the inspector that he has to learn Kung Fu Karate to avenge his father's death, but the inspector says that you will not be able to learn this, do not insist, otherwise you too will be killed by Hojo. But after so much pleading, the inspector agrees to teach Sidhu Kung Fu. Now Sidhu's training starts here, and Sidhu learns Kung Fu by working very hard for many days, after getting many injuries and getting abused by his new master. Now after this, Chopstick sends news about a secret smuggling of Hojo in the hands of Saki. After this both the guru and the disciple reach the spot and beat up all the men. Here we knows that Sidhu has also learned a very special move which only he has. Now here both of them kidnap Hojo's son so that with his help they can rescue Suji from Hojo. After hearing this news, Hojo plays his next move and tells Suji that the man from whom we are going to rescue my son killed your father as well. Hearing this, Suji gets angry, and when she went to meet the inspector, i.e. her real father, she did not know the reality. She secretly stabbed him. But after this Sidhu saves his guru, and here Suzy sees her real twin sister Saki. After saying her twin sister Suzy knows that he is not her father's killer, he is her father and that Hojo lied to her. Now we are shown the scene where the inspector was undergoing treatment in the village itself. Here the head of this village tells Sidhu that I have come to know that you are not Lushing, so you leave this country and go back to India. But Sidhu is now very confident and wanted to kill Hojo himself. The next morning, there is a huge fight between the entire Hojo gang and Sidhu in the middle of the village, in which Hojo's entire gang is defeated. Meanwhile, Hojo's son comes there to take Saki with him, but Suzy punches him in the face, and finally we get to see Sidhu versus Hojo. At first Sidhu gave an equal fight to Hojo, but in the middle he started to weaken. Here he remembers his father and the moves he used to knead dough and cut vegetables in Chandni Chowk, due to which he starts seeing a big potato in Hojo. By the way, this scene in the middle of the fight was very funny. After this, Sidhu beats Hojo so much that all his clothes are torn, and in the end he steals Hojo's hat and cuts Lushing's statue and drops it on Hojo, and finally Hojo dies by the hands of Lushing. Once again happiness comes out in this village. Sidhu opens his small cart there, Inspector Chang gets his lost family back, and finally these two people come to Sidhu and speak their language. He will say that there is a similar scene in our village too. Please help us memes. From Chandni Chowk to Africa, haha. This movie ends here. Bye.